everyone joining us from home to our Holistic Addiction Recovery podcast episode on MAT, or medically assisted treatment. Is that correct, Dr. Fielding?
Yes, it is.
Fantastic. Well, we are doing this episode here today because we've gotten a lot of questions on MAT and is it effective? How is it used? And we wanted to take this opportunity to share some of our, education and experience on this subject with you. So this is Dr. Manon Fielding. She has her master's she's a certified substance abuse counselor, was in chiropractic, a holistic chiropractor for over 20 years, and is a co-facilitator of our holistic addiction recovery program. So I understand you've done quite a bit of research on this in addition to your background education working with and doing this. Could you kind of tell us a little bit about what MAT is, if it works, and kind of where are we as a society in the recovery industry on MAT right now?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. And I think a lot of people are asking, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, as you know. And after reviewing the literature and seeing how it works in practice in various rehab facilities that are using it and where it's not being used effectively, I've come to the conclusion that, MAT is just an essential part of our fight against addiction for a variety of reasons. So one is the bottom line is it saves lives. So we have a huge increase in opioid addiction, as people know, and now also with methamphetamine, with meth. And the MAT helps people transition out of a detox or rehab facility and helps them deal with cravings so they don't immediately go to use the substance, which then could cause, if they try to go back to the same level that they were at before, they often experience overdose. And yes, I do think we need to have more people have Narcan, which does also prevent overdose from causing death. But many addicts do not have access to that, or people around them don't. And so the MAT gives them a longer, we say in our program, there are two major factors in preventing relapse. One is time, and one is connection within ourselves and connection to other people in our family and outside of there. So the MAT gives us more of the time component by one, like I said, saving lives so they actually have time to be able to get better, and two, just preventing cravings and giving them time for their brain and body to heal and be able to be effective for them to learn and become what I call, what we might call a non-addict, someone who does not identify with being an addict over time, and it does take time. So that's basically, yes, it is very effective, and been many studies on it, and it just needs to be utilized more. One of the things too that I wanted to mention is that many faith-based programs and programs like NA do not do not understand the value of MAT, and they want everyone to be abstinent, right?
Yeah.
Abstinence is the way. And then those people in opioid addiction, most of them will relapse when they get done with the program. They may feel great when they leave and they're reading the Bible and they're really feeling good about their lives. But if they haven't gotten to the point of integrating all that in their life and not have the MAT to kind of fall back on initially, it doesn't generally turn out well. And that's why relapse is so prevalent in our society.
Thank you for that. That was enlightening. So could you tell me a little bit, how does MAT work, and who does it work for? Like, are there specific, drugs that have been found to be really effective, and what does that look like?
Right. So there has for a long period of time, many years, maybe 20 years, has been MAT effective for alcohol, naltrexone. Okay, so
Okay.
alcohol, and alcoholism. So, and then opioids, which they have a combination of different types of MAT, Vivitrol, naltrexone, sometimes given with other in combination
Methadone,
with drugs.
buprenorphine.
Yes, yeah, the suboxone and the methadone are all very effective, and if they're utilized properly, which people are, in that field are educated very well about the dosing. So the importance of proper dosing, and secondly of counseling, because it's not just the MAT that does the work. You have to handle both sides of the equation. So I said the opioids, alcohol, cocaine, and what I have just discovered recently is in the last 2 years, they have found very effective MAT for meth addiction, and meth has increased by 10 times recently, and they can't keep any control over it. It's just like whatever they find at the border, there's a volume of other that has gotten through and that is being distributed all over. Especially, I think in the South is really very plentiful here, but it's all over the world actually.
So what kind of treatments or what kind of medications are they using for methamphetamine to get people off of it?
The methamphetamine, they are using a form of Wellbutrin called, I always kind of get this wrong, I'm sorry. It's buprenorphine, how do you?
Bupropion.
Bupropion, there we go, bupropion with naltrexone. So they're doing it naltrexone by itself and also in combination with the bupropion. And what else did I have? I wrote.
Well, I'm reading your blog post, which was very informative. So it says naltrexone, and then you put bupropion, modafinil, or SRE amphetamine.
Right. So the modafinil is actually a central nervous system stimulant that has been used with narcolepsy, and they are finding that is very effective in combination with the naltrexone. So that is one potential combination. Also, let's see, the modafinil and the SR amphetamine, which is a slow release.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an Adderall. A lot of doctors are very cautious about giving those unless they have been diagnosed with ADHD. So it's really something they need to discuss with their doctor and find, what's the appropriate combination for that person.
Yeah. Wow. That's really interesting. So I know you said that it's like two things. It's the time and the connection. And so we're not promoting just MAT going out there and getting on medication. You have to have the care to go along with it. That's like solving the underlying problems. And if I hear you correctly, you're saying that an MAT regimen could be really helpful for people who have a high risk of relapse, which, most addicts, let's face it, they say relapse is a part of recovery, but it really doesn't have to be. And so with MAT, people are able to get more time away from those like people, places, and things while they're able to work on building that internal connection and, to themselves and to others.
So, yeah, and that's exactly true. And so anybody who goes to a rehab or detox facility and it's their second, third, fourth time, those are people that are definitely designated for MAT and continued counseling of some sort, counseling or coaching. And you and I are working, doing a lot of coaching. And I know that you've experienced this firsthand with the MAT. Can you tell us about your own experience?
Yeah, I would love to. So I was addicted to opiates for many, many years, and opiates are just so incredibly insidious because you can actually function on them to an extent for prolonged periods of time. And so often, you know, people don't know, and most people in my life didn't know that I was even on anything. And so when it got so out of hand and I started using IV heroin and things just really started falling apart is when I started, you know, going to treatment for the first time and second and third and fourth time. And I just remember talking to you and saying, like, I just don't feel like I can do this without methadone. And that's when I started going to the methadone clinic. I went from, you know, and I know people have all sorts of beliefs and things they say about methadone, and I'm not a proponent of these medications by themselves, like we just said, but for me, it was incredibly effective. I was on it for over a year. During that time, I finished my school. I attended conferences. I was like really involved in different activities. And I had to go to the clinic in the morning, get my dose. And then after a while, you kind of, you get to your stable dose. And I wasn't thinking about having to go use, because you have that like physical dependence on opiates that it doesn't just go away overnight. And
Right.
even when you're doing this work and, you know, doing the counseling, which is what I was doing a lot of at the time, it's helpful, but it really still isn't getting to those underlying issues. But for me, without that methadone program, I have no doubt in my mind, I still would have been out shooting dope. So I was on methadone for over a year. I got up to 120 milligrams, and then I slowly started tapering off. And I actually didn't have any problems tapering down. I did it very slowly, you know, under the care of a medical professional. And that was really helpful for me. And I had actually tried suboxone before, and subutex, and methadone is a full agonist, whereas the suboxone is a partial. So it's got that blocker in there too, and the methadone doesn't. And so I know that some people in the opiate community are more proponents of the Vivitrol or naltrexone option, but for me, methadone worked. And then I would say, in addition to that, so I was on the methadone. Oh, I ended up, ultimately, I got the sublocade shot, which was you just get it once a month, and they did it in my stomach, and it goes, I guess, under or into the fatty tissue and releases very slowly over the period of like about a month. And for me, it was incredible because I was no longer having to take something every day. I just had this shot, so I wasn't even thinking about it, but the cravings were gone. And I was able to start like looking for jobs and like really, and started working and getting my life together. And actually I got the sublocade shot twice. And I think it came out of my system so slowly that I never went through any kind of withdrawal.
Anymore,
Nothing.
right.
And I was reading these horror stories on Reddit, people telling me like, oh my God, don't get it. It's even harder to get off than dope, da, 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 da. And that just goes to show you that anything is possible, and it's all in your mind. Like, we are capable of incredible things. And when you really start doing the work that we're teaching in this program, like talking about meditation, breath work, energy technologies, all of the things that we're talking about, when you really start doing those, you make this shift, and it can happen in an instant. But I never had to go back to that.
Right. So I'm so glad that you shared that experience, because it's very important for people to understand. And I think a lot of people also ask us, like, you know, is MAT, and what are things that are included in holistic addiction recovery, which is the name of our program, Holistic Addiction Recovery and Life Coaching, that we incorporate anything that is, I consider holistic. So mind, body, spirit, that does not have significant side effects, and helps us deal with the issue of time and connection. So anything under that umbrella is considered holistic.
Holistic.
Right. And so our program, tell us just what's included in our program so we can let them know before we close up.
Sure. Yeah. So if you're interested in MAT, you feel like you might be the right candidate for it, you have any questions, etc., please do reach out. You can reach us at holisticaddictionrecovery.org/contact. But our program, we are launching in September. It is a 10-week program where we incorporate self-healing practices, new energy technologies to help you transcend the identity of addiction to one of your own creation. And this is the podcast for Holistic Addiction Recovery. We're going to be coming out with new episodes in this series bi-monthly. So every other week we'll be answering your questions. This was just one that we had gotten quite a bit, so we really felt like it was important to do this today. But if you have any questions you'd like us to answer, please do not hesitate to reach out to us via our website and our program. We are huge proponents of the, they say addiction is a family disease, right? Like you didn't just become an addict by yourself, like in isolation. We change when one person changes, it affects everyone else. But we really want addicts and their families to experience this program together. So we're offering a 2-for-1 offer. So if you sign up, you can add a family member to take this program with you for free. Okay. And this program, it's going to cover, we have like some incredible content in here. We've already had such great experiences, especially with addicts and families taking the program together. And it's also going to include integrative group coaching. So we're going to help you. We're not only going to teach you and provide all this information and resources and education, we're going to help you integrate it in your life in a way that works for you. Because that's really what it's all about. And you'll be part of our online, it's all virtual. You'll be part of our online community. So you can reach out and you have support and connection to us and each other 24/7. And we're just really looking forward to sharing all of the things that I wish I learned in treatment is basically what this course is.
Right.
I had gone through treatment so many times, I felt like I could teach it myself. And I just started, reaching and looking for new things and, over time. And then Mom went back and got her degree. And we've just put this incredible program together for you all, because that's what it's all about. I believe that this is my purpose.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks so much. We'll see you guys for the next one.
Bye.
Bye.